readings today. Let's start with our opening prayer. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended, our pain be lifted, to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste. Okay. Oh, today's got a really nice energy to it. I think it's because winter solstice is coming. There's some really amazing energies coming in. All about really resting, celebrating, letting go, gratitude, forgiveness, deep peace. You can feel that peace kind of washing in. So I'm going to draw us a card and then I will start answering your questions. I can't believe it, but tomorrow is the close card for Medical Intuitive. So, oh my gosh, it's getting real now. Hi, Lorene. It's definitely getting real now. Oh, and it's kind of a nice switch from full-blown conversations and figuring out if this is the right space for everybody and if this is a good container for them, to creativity mode, creating and serving and nurturing. It's a nice energy. Yeah, I know. And we've got the prize draw tomorrow. So if you haven't entered the competition to win a free scholarship of Medical Intuitive, we're going to find out who wins tomorrow. Things are getting super exciting. Okay. Whoa, we've got 2 cards. Gosh, I keep trying to avoid it and you can't. The card is Be Brave. The card is Be Brave. And we got, oh my gosh, angel numbers 4, right? I thought we got 3, we got 4. So today we've got Be Brave. Love God. The card is love God, not love yourself, not love the angels, love God, right? Love your higher power, love creator. Animals upside down and healing. So sometimes when animal cards come up, it's about spending time with your pets or being worried about your pets or getting a pet to help you out with loneliness. But sometimes, and what I'm feeling guided by the angels in this particular conversation, is that it's about honoring your true nature. The word animus actually comes from the Latin word to have a soul, right? So the word animal means to have a soul inside the body. So when we're looking at this, is about, and this, oh gosh, there's an animal here as well in the Be Brave card. This is a panther, and it's actually very symbolic. If you see the panthers in the night, so it's like dark night of the soul. And this angel is resting or sleeping. So she's not awake or aware of the panther. So the part of her that knows how to see in the dark. Shamans talk about the panther being the animal that you use to do shadow work. And it's about, because panthers are not only black symbolically in the forest, but they hunt at night. They can see in the dark, right? And it's the same thing with snakes. The reason that they use snakes symbolically as the most as an animal that represents having the most medicine is the snakes also see in the dark because they use heat sensors and they hunt at night. So it's the energy of you when you're in your shadow, you cannot see. You don't know the patterns that are actually holding you back. Very often you think you're working on something, but actually it's something else. Like you think you're working on weight loss, but the real shadow, like the real issue is safety. You think you're working on, a heart condition or a heart disease, but the real issue is heartbreak and not having any boundaries and having low self-worth. You think you're working on gut, but the actual problem is lack of courage, right? So when you tap into the animals or like the animus or the soul, you start to see the true nature of the shadow and what it's doing, how it's going to do it, and that sometimes you are asleep to the part of you that would be able to hunt in the dark. So this is an invitation, right, from the animal kingdom to use our animal nature and to call in our spirit animals, the spirit of the panther. I've got a really strong a connection. What is it that came through with a giraffe recently, which I really wasn't expecting. Of all my spirit animals, I started off with a ferret. This ferret animal guide stayed with me for 8 years. And it was a little fluffy white snow ferret. And it was around exploration and deep curiosity and going down rabbit holes, right? To really discover the multiverse. And then when I started going into theta, it switched to being a peacock. And when I asked why it was a peacock, they showed me that it was because it was the awakening of my spiritual vision, like 1,000 eyes, like a peacock's tail, and represented being like that quantum jumping, being outside of time and space, being able to see and navigate all directions of time. And then I had a mother bear before Archie was born to represent like that fierce feminine and the awakening of my warrior energy, which I was afraid of, and the energy of it being a natural part of a woman's soul instead of the way that it's personified in our culture, which is it's masculine, right? Which is not true at all. Women are fierce, mothers are fierce, particularly when we are defending our young, right? And we're creating space for them in the world. And then more recently, this giraffe, which is about seeing things from a higher perspective, like working on the business, not in the business, keeping my chin up, keeping my head up, not getting caught up in seeing things from a normal perspective, always staying in that creator energy. And I was expecting an eagle, but I got a giraffe, so I'm taking what I got. And then the last one that we have for today is healing. All right, healing energy. So this love of God card is incredibly powerful, right? And I had to take the car down to get the oil change yesterday, seriously early in the morning. And I walked back along the beach. And as I was walking back, I had this real energy of celebrating God and worshiping God and singing to God and loving God. And I heard my angel say to me, do you know how rare that is? You know, that people actually love God back. It's become so rare. That people actually allow themselves to be in love with Creator. So if you don't know what that feels like, it's one of the most powerful manifestation things that there is, but it's also one of the most powerful bringers of peace to walk with God on a daily basis. It's a very powerful meditation. To take off your shoes, to walk along the beach with God by your side as your companion. So can we show you that you can do that that's available to you, and that this will bring you profound and deep healing that you seek? And they're showing me it's particularly relevant for some of you who are looking for soulmates, because you think you're looking for your soulmate to completely complete you, but the companion you're really looking for is God. And when you let God be your companion, you will have the soulmate and the family, because you will have the safety required to know that you are strong enough no matter what happens. There we go. Okay, I'm going to jump straight into our questions for today. Okay, I'm going to jump. I'm good where the angels guide me to jump, because I've been staying, I think, a bit too much at the top. So I want to go where I'm guided to go. Okay, hi Sky. This is a question for my best friend, Marabella. This is Mattis asking. Her first love has died recently. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. She is really stuck in the past regarding this. Can the angels give her any guidance? Thank you. I have consent. Well, first of all, let's bring in Archangel Raphael, who's the angel of death. Beautiful vanilla color. So can we just start by sending her so much unconditional love? Her first love, so much unconditional love. And I'm going to ask her angels to come super close and reassure her that he is safe, because her body's gone into freeze. It's like she gave a part of her soul to cross over with him. And this is very common with soulmates, okay? Especially when we don't have a belief in life after death. Not really. We might have an understanding of it, but it's not in our hearts, right? It's not taking that journey without distance. We don't really know that we're a soul. It's a theory, but we don't really believe it. So there we go. Just pouring so much mercy and acceptance into her heart, because grief, we go through denial, bargaining, anger, and then we get to acceptance. So much acceptance needs to be poured in here, so much mercy, because doesn't understand his soul path or why he had to go. There's a real battle going on with things not being fair, where the truth is, the world is full of injustice, just as much as it's full of peace. The way that I see it, the way that I talk to myself about this, because my ego goes, oh, the world is full of injustice, life isn't fair. The way that I speak to myself about this, because my angel showed me that might serve her, is that life is full of mystery, right? And God's plan is bigger than my plan, including for other souls. And whilst my ego is tempted to drag me down the road of it's not fair, the reality is I don't know, and that's what's hard to be with. I don't know what God's plan is for that situation, for that child, for that person that's passed away, for that person that got hurt. I don't know what the plan is. right? But I do know that God has used many people who have been deeply hurt, whether it's Moses or David or Mother Mary. So hurt is not a sign that God has abandoned you. It's often a sign that you have a big mission. So your fear mind and the darkness are trembling and they're trying to see if they can scare you out of it. There we go. Okay, it's a lot better. Okay. Maria saying, hi, Sky. I had this feeling that I'm not living in the city or country where I'm supposed to. Can the angels give me some clarity about this, please? Yep, let's pull a card. Don't compromise. So they're showing, and you've got Saint Agnes of Rome here. So you're showing me this, like they're showing me this energy of you knowing that you want to live somewhere energetically amazing, somewhere like Colorado, somewhere like Mexico, somewhere like France, but like there's specific sacred sites, like England, there's Glastonbury, like where I am in Shetland, there's some of the oldest, I'm not in Shetland, where I am in Scotland, there's some islands in Shetland that some of the oldest stone circles around. And where I am, there's some incredible rivers or trees that allow you, right? Really allow you to connect with these sacred points. St. Andrews is a very sacred place. It's quite close to me as well. It's supposed to be like the Holy Grail, or where the last place where the Knights Templar was seen, right? So there are many places where around where you are that you need these incredible ley lines to give you energy. And that's what the angels are showing me, is that you need to live somewhere where the land is empowering you instead of taking away your energy. So yeah, it's definitely a shift in country, and they're showing me to either America or somewhere with a lot of sacred ley lines in Europe. And you've got options in Europe and you've got options in America, but they're showing me like this energy of do not compromise. And they're also showing me that you're claircognizant. You're not really aware of it. You think of yourself as clairsentient, but they're saying that you will know. Start Googling sacred sites, and the moment that you find the one you're supposed to be at, you will know. They're also saying that you're going to have to go there first. So they're saying that you're going to go there either on a holiday, or you're going to go there on a retreat, or you're going to go there because you think, I have to go to this place. There's some sort of activation that's going to happen in this place, some sort of healing. And then when you get there, you're going to get organized and move there. So they're saying, do a proper scan, do a proper Google search, feel the one that feels like it's going to be the most in alignment. But they're also saying that the world is your oyster, and this is also part of your divine life purpose, in the sense that part of the retreats that you're going to run is going to center around healing the world or healing the earth. So unless you're actively sending energy to the chakras of the earth, and the earth has chakras, by the way, and the ley lines represent the meridians of the earth, the same way that you have meridians and that you have chakras, the earth has meridians and the earth has chakras. So for example, the third eye of the earth is meant to be Loch Ness up in Scotland. And then there are many other sacred supposed to be chakra focal points of the planet. It's not limited to 7 like we are, but the earth has chakras. So sometimes we're guided to heal the earth in a huge way when we're working on our own systems or when we're working on humanity. So can we work on letting you travel again? There's some fear around that, especially because of all the crazy COVID stuff last year. You're able to travel freely and at peace as you discover where you're supposed to live. Okay, Maya saying, hi, Sky. I'm just wondering if I have to continue my healing and guidance or take another job. Thank you so much. Okay, angels, what have we got for Maya? Vision. So one of the, like when I'm tuning into your angels, I'm actually getting the sense of the sense of frustration and a kind of a tough love energy where they're going, she's not listening to us. She's not listening. So right now your fear is louder than your your angels, basically. Your angels are saying that you need to charge appropriately for your services, that the amount you're charging, you would have to work 50, maybe 60-hour weeks to be able to make ends meet, and that's not sustainable. And you'd also have to get like a huge number of clients. So they're really saying, please work on your self-worth. It's blocking you. If you don't work on your self-worth, you will have to get a job, right? But then make no mistake, that does take away from your divine life purpose. And you then have affirmed in your energy that you can't do it. So you have a choice. You either do the work so that you actually feel that you are worthy of being compensated well for your work, right? And I would suggest going and looking at people like me. There are many other people that make a lot more money than me doing guidance and angel readings, so that you really start to understand that what you're doing is valuable. And you start to position yourself as a spiritual teacher and an authority without the guilt. There's so much guilt there around this energy of not being able to help people. Guys, look at me. It doesn't stop me from helping people. I make good money doing what I love so that I can take care of not just my family, but my community, right? My divine life purpose is to build hospitals around this earth and to democratize medicine and to return sovereignty over their health back over to the people. That is my divine life purpose. And money is just energy, and that is required. The hospitals aren't going to sprout by themselves. It requires me holding that space and bringing in the money so that I can pay people, right? So that they can be like valued whilst they serve, which is one of the biggest problems with our health system now, is that the health workers, just like the teachers, etc., are not valued, right? They're not taken care of. They can't take care of their families, even though they're saving lives, which is a crime, right? As far as I'm concerned, and an act of abuse that stops more people from going into service, not just divine service, but into the health service. But I'm here doing angel readings completely for free as well. You don't have to choose between serving people from a place of unconditional giving and making an income. In fact, one will feed the other. The more people that you help from a place of unconditional giving, the more that clients will flood in, because you've built a relationship with them and they're ready to work with you and they trust you because you've nurtured them and you've loved them. You know, that's just the way that God gives back. There is nothing that you can give that you don't receive 1,000-fold in return. But I promise you, you don't have to choose between helping the people who are the worst off and struggling the most in society and helping the ones that can afford your services. But you do need that discipline, right? Where I have 2 hours that I show up and I serve from an unconditional giving place. I then have a certain number of hours that I show up from a place where I'm guiding my students, where I'm guiding my clients to a higher vibration, to a deeper connection with God in the container that I promised them, if that makes sense, right? So I make space for both. One is the divine feminine, the unconditional giving, and one is the divine masculine, the boundary, the protection, the container that allows people to grow in a safe way and allows me to be held as I grow, right? But I do both, and you can 100% do both. So when your ego's like, oh, you'll be leaving behind the worst people, you go, I'm not leaving anyone behind. Right? God doesn't leave anyone behind. I'm lifting people up with me, because the more I show that it is more than possible, right, to do what you love, to financially take care of the people that you love and of yourself, because that is a manifestation of God's abundance, and to take care of people who would never be able to afford you, right? The more that I show that not only do you not have to choose, but that it's very possible for people to handle their power and their financial power in a loving way, in a balanced way, without you having to choose. Okay? Hi, Sky. You've already lifted me up. Thank you. You're welcome, beautiful. Hi, Sky. I get stressed so quickly. Not sure if it's related to menopause. Finding it difficult to manage. Can I get an angel reading? Thank you for all you do. So you know what? The angels are showing me you are really connected to the previous question about choosing a job over doing your guidance. It's like your nervous system is so it's financial trauma. So the moment we have to deal with money, the moment that we have to think about money, our nervous system goes into panic, or it goes into shutdown, and then we're either avoiding it, or we're not doing it, or we can't talk about it. So let's just start to release this in a healthy way. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm getting Archangel Raphael coming in super strong here. He wants to work on our heart chakras around opening us up to money. So when we go, I've been hurt financially, whether it was by a boss or our father or our mother or whoever it was that controlled the money. And we go, I'm never going to be like them. I'm never going to deal with money. I'm never going to care about money. It's no different than when we get our heart broken by a boyfriend and we're like, well, I'm never going to get in a relationship again. Money is a part of life. Okay. It's like food. You can't just say, I'm going to give up food. It's not healthy. You need food. It's the same thing with money. You can't just go, I'm not going to have anything to do with it. Good luck, right? You'll be stuck outside of the whole community, the whole system. But not only that, your chakras will be blocked. Your capacity to receive energy will be blocked. So can we release those fears, those wounded vows to never have anything to do with money, to stay away from it, to never do that again, to not be like them? And can we show you, you are not them. You are never them. And guess what? Money is so much bigger than them. People can abuse anything. People can abuse you with sex. People can abuse you with time. People can abuse you with words. It's about fear, not about the medium of abuse. So can we separate, right? Fearful people, fearful conditioning and trauma from money, from sexuality, from control, from people abusing time, people abusing you, and you having to learn how to master money, time, love, parenting, completely separate things. People abuse because they are in a place of trauma. And it doesn't mean that you get to not do your life lessons. There we go. Okay, I think it's related to menopause. So it can, any kind of stress or nervous system can be related to hormones, particularly for women. But the issue is not menopause and the issue is not puberty. The issue is lack of self-care. And that's one of the reasons why I cover self-neglect wounds so deeply, is because women have centuries of being told not to take care of ourselves. And our bodies can't do what they need to do, repair our nervous system, repair our endocrine system, create the hormones they're supposed to make without the vitamins, without the minerals, without the exercise, without the meditation, without that space for self-care. It's just not possible. And I was listening to Mary Farlow last night, and she said something that I thought was so relevant for us. She said that I became so much more abundant when I wasn't letting the drive drag me. Right? So particularly when there is money on the table, and you know that if you don't do that discovery call, that if you don't set that, Christmas offer, that if you don't, if you don't show up, that nobody will, right? Particularly at the beginning of your business, there's a real temptation to completely abandon your self-care. And it's the same, right? When you know that nobody's going to show up and that you taking an hour to work out, right? While the baby's in the bouncer, or whilst he's like playing on the sofa, or watching an hour of Cocomelon or whatever it is that kid is watching. And your brain is going, oh my God, I'm so guilty. That kid should not be watching TV. Oh my, but that hour that you work out, that 15 minutes that you take to make yourself a banana smoothie, to take your vitamins, that half an hour when they go to bed where you wash your hair and have a shower before you clean the kitchen, right? Those things are important, sacred things, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. And the woman is the light of the home, right? So if we burn out, those kids have no one. So those moments that our ego works so hard with the mom guilt to make us feel guilty about, right, are the moments that are like die hard important, for puberty, for menopause, for postpartum recovery, for sleep, right? Those moments where the brain is going, oh my God, the house needs to be done, or I still haven't wrapped the Christmas presents, or I still haven't done this, or I still haven't done that. Or you could have a nap, right? The baby's asleep, you could have a nap. Your brain, will go to, I could get all this stuff done. But the truth is your body heals the most when you sleep, right? So there are these moments where your ego is going to work really hard, particularly with menopause, puberty, postpartum, that what you have to fit in, essentially have to fit in, is decent food, exercise, sleep. That is a have to. That is like, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It is not a want. It is a have to. Once those needs are met, not wants, then we can discuss other things, right? And that's where the discipline kicks in. That's when you're like, okay, I did sleep. Maybe instead of watching Netflix for an hour, I'm going to work for an hour. Maybe instead of, calling my best friend right now, I'm going to fill in the forms or write the emails or create the copy or take the pictures or write the program. But it's after all those things have happened, right? Self-care is not the thing that goes. Self-care is the thing that stays. And we often completely forget it. And then we don't know why our menopause is horrific, our puberty is horrific, our periods are painful. But it's because self-care has to come first. It has to come first before everything else, which is such a hard truth to accept. So anywhere where you're neglecting yourself and where your ego is telling you to do fake self-care. What is fake self-care? Watching Netflix, what's it called? Running the bath, avoiding your finances, not exercising. So it's scientifically proven an hour of exercise, way better for you than any sort of TV program. Doesn't matter if it's yoga, Pilates, weights. What matters is that you're moving your body. It doesn't even matter if you're moving your body whilst you're watching something on Netflix, but you cannot just sit down when you are in a state of stress and zone out without moving your body, because your body needs to get rid of that. It needs to change your biochemistry. It needs to move. Okay? So you might not like exercise, but don't tell me you don't like movement. Just watch little kids. They can't sit still. Movement is a part of life. So can we show you it's safe for you to let go of this neglect wound and to make a decision today that for the rest of your life, you're going to move your body every day for at least an hour, right? Whether that means getting a treadmill like me, whether that means that you're going to, at least stretch and do like 20 downward dogs. Our sun savasanas when you're watching something you want to watch, or that you're actually going to go outside for an hour first thing in the morning and walk with God. Exercise needs to be part of your life. There we go. Oh gosh, I've got Archangel Raphael so strong with me going, it needs to be part of your life. Okay. Seb is saying, I listened to your Understanding Men video. What an eye-opener. Yes, I have a book, guys. It's called Soulmate Shadow Work that goes into depth, and it has a ton of exercises. It's on Amazon. I'll put the link in the comments. But that's what that masterclass is based on. It's for free on YouTube. Any chance you have a recommended reading list? Yes, I have a huge recommended reading list. You mentioned many authors and speakers. I would like, to be honest, I am insanely busy right now. So I'm going to have boundaries and say, I mentioned many authors in that video. If you could, Seb, can you make a list and DM it over, and then I will share it with everybody. But I don't have 3 hours to go through that old seminar and find everything on the reading list. But I'm happy to share it with everybody if you're willing to do it, or if any of you are willing to do it, right? But I read a lot, and not so much books. I used to read a lot, like proper books, but especially because of my dyslexia, and now with the baby, I do a lot of audiobooks whilst I'm cooking, whilst I'm cleaning, whilst I'm running errands, whilst I'm writing copy. I do a lot of listening. So that's probably the best way. But if you are interested, yeah, by all means, make me a book list and I will share it both underneath the video and with everybody here. Barbara Young, hi Skylar, will a liver cleanse clear out candida infection? How do I clean my gut? I would go to doctors and have numerous tests and always nothing shows up. So I don't think doctors will support. So the way that I do it, right, and this is personally the way that I do it, is I work with I love the Chinese medicine people. So whenever I'm stuck with my health, right, I will go to a Chinese medicine facilitator and I will, as well as doing the belief work, right? I always do my own healing and belief work, but I will get the herbs, I will get the fulvic minerals, I will get the vitamins, and then with the Chinese medicine, they will show me the herbs, and it's because I have lifetimes and lifetimes with Chinese. But for you, it might be Ayurveda or it might be a naturopath. But the other thing that Chinese medicine people often do is a hair test. So they will take your hair and it will show you what minerals you're depleted in, what you need, what's not coming inside your body, right? And then I can go and get another one after, and it gives me an accurate depiction of what's healed or what's not healed. But you can also get blood tests delivered straight to your door. If nothing is showing up and you're definitely sure it's 100% candida, right? Candida is not just, if you forget the metaphysical aspect for a second, right? It's fungus's job is to eat the dead stuff. That's what it does throughout the whole of nature. The leaves fall on the ground, the fungus eat it and literally put the vitamins, put the minerals, put everything that the plant or the leaves contained back into the soil. So candida will do the same thing for you, right? The problem is, and this is why it's a natural part of the body, a natural part of the system. The problem is when your inability to digest food is out of control. And then the fungus outgrowth becomes out of control. Why is this connected to liver? Because liver is where your bile is produced. Your bile is what properly breaks down the food that's inside your small intestine. Okay, so if your liver is clogged up with stones, and most of us have 20,000 stones or more in our liver, you have to have more than 50,000 before they'll diagnose you with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. But the truth is that you can have 20,000, 30,000, and it will stop you from detoxing quickly from your hormones. It will stop you from getting rid of alcohol fast enough. It's the reason why you can be, hungover in your 20s, but you can't deal with being hungover in your 40s. It lasts 4 or 5 days. Same thing with your hormones, right? Why does your liver create stones? Because it's protecting your kidneys. So what happens is you start putting toxins in your body, toxins you're not even aware of putting in, from fizzy drinks, from from cake, from ready meals, from wherever it comes. And then there's all these chemicals, E-numbers, etc. Not even talking about contraceptives or antibiotics or Nurofen, right? Or Calpol or paracetamol. All of these to you are not a problem. All of these put stress on your liver and particularly stress on your kidneys. So what does your liver do, right? Especially when faced with all of those toxins, and especially now at Christmas where people are adding alcohol and all sorts of other things at the same time as taking their medications and everything else, right? So what does the liver do? The liver prioritizes getting rid of as much of these toxins as it can, and it slows down the amount of hormones that it can take, because your body can go slower with hormones. It can run with the same old hormones for 2 or 3 days at a time in your bloodstream, but it can't handle having alcohol in there. It can't handle having medications in there. It can't handle having these other higher level toxins in there, right? And the toxins that are too toxic, things like aluminium, lead, viruses, bacteria, pus, candida, anything that it thinks might be dangerous to your kidneys, right? It puts inside these little balls of fat, which become liver stones and gallstones. And it stores them because you can live for 20, 30 years, maybe even 40 years with these stones inside your liver, but you can't live without your kidneys and you can't live with sepsis in your blood. So your liver is constantly having to choose between detoxing your blood of all the toxins that you've put inside it, plus the natural toxins that your body naturally produces every day, right? And protecting your kidneys and protecting your immune system, right? So the liver is incredible. It does more than 300 functions per day. So when we're talking about nothing showing up for medical tests, It doesn't mean there's nothing going on. It means you have to go to a different doctor, and liver flush is the first thing that you do after you do a few colonics, and then you start doing liver flushes so that the stones, when they come out of your liver, are going into your gut and they're coming out. Because if you start doing liver flushes and your gut is clogged up with like the 5 extra pounds of poop and constipation, all that stuff, then the stones have nowhere to go and they're just sitting there full of toxins inside your small intestine, and that's not good. Okay, so why we start off by doing like colonics, or by doing enemas, or by taking something like oxy powder to clean, and then we move on to clean out the gut, so that when the stones come out the liver, we have a chance of actually getting rid of them and pooping them out instead of just doing a backlog. If you've ever done a juice fast, you'll realize very quickly, right, that you will have not eaten for like 4 days and you're still pooping. It becomes really obvious just how much people are normally backed up and they don't even realize that they are backed up. But I hope that helps. Okay, I would find a good Chinese herbalist or a good naturopath or a good medical intuitive and work with them to clear this stuff up properly. But if the doctor's tests aren't working, then you might have to pay for private tests, more detailed tests to find out what's actually going on. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of an energy break, and I'm going to leave you with Archangel Raphael. Archangel Ariel's coming in as well to give you the courage. There's a very strong lion energy to do what you need to do to get healthy and to actually go to battle for your health instead of just putting it off because it's not that bad. Okay, now is the time to deal with it. It's way better to deal with it before it gets bad and to course correct before it gets bad than to wait until you have something big to deal with. Hello, Sky. Yesterday you told me I have to move. The thing is that we are in this process, but we do not agree on where is the place. I would like to know if my decision is for the highest good or if I'm blocking something. I really do not want to move where my husband wants to because it's too far away for my clients to come, and I would have to start my business all over again. I want to go somewhere more close to my town where we are currently living. Is this decision good for me and my family, or should I follow my husband to the city where he wants to go? Thank you very much. This is like, and before I even shuffle the cards, what the angels saying to me, this is a financial decision. So if you want to stay where you are and you want your husband's support, the angels are saying to me, you have to make more money. This, sorry, can feel the, but it's true. So if somebody's trying to move for work, right, and they are the main breadwinner and you don't want to move, you're either going to have to move your business online or you're going to have a plan to have your business make more money, because it's not fair. It's not fair to ask the family to have less of an income because of the business, right? The whole point of a business is to bring an income. So let's see what the angels have to say. Steady progress. So it's an energy. What I'm getting is that you need to trust. So one of the biggest things about running a business in person, and I did this for many years, is that you probably have beliefs, and we're going to do a little bit of clearing work around this now, that it's not, your work is not as valuable if you can't do it in person. And the truth is there is no time and space. I get just as good results working from my computer as I do working in person. And I had a clinic in London for more than 8 years, right, where I saw people in person. But for the last 5 years, I've only seen people online, and I've only taught online. And it was a very big shift in my consciousness to understand that not only could I serve and help more people, right, but I could do it in a way that was more convenient for them. So can we show you that you can move with your husband, because that's what's being shown, right? And you can organize workshops in your hometown, like weekend workshops or retreats from a distance, and you can shift your work to working online. But they're really showing me, like, over and over again, it just hits my heart, like he wants more, and not just more money, he wants more for his family. So that's the real battle. It's not about what you think it's about. It's not about, it's like when you guys are talking, it's about your business versus his. It's not what it's about. His drive is to be able to provide more opportunity in the future, and he can't do that without some way of making more money, right? So because he's still locked in this paradigm of I need to have a job, and you're locked in this paradigm of there's only so much I can earn because you're still exchanging time for money, there's a shift in paradigm required here. You have to create a way of making money whilst you sleep, whether that's by selling an online program, whether that's by creating some kind of a spiritual healing product, but you have to find a way to serve, whether that's by selling meditations that are not requiring you exchanging time for money because it's blocking you from getting to a higher income level. It might be an affiliate program where you're selling products that you believe in, or, you know, through your social media, but there needs to be a way of you making income without exchanging time for money, right? And this is actually super important for both of you to work out. It's like you're blaming each other for the soul lesson, which is there's only so long that you can exchange time for money without it blocking your financial growth. So can we release this belief that there's no other way, and show you there's a million other ways, and you guys can work as a team instead of it being a battle between you, because this is a financial problem with a financial solution. It is not a soulmate problem. It's not a love problem. It's not a respect problem. This is a financial problem. And the solution is a financial solution and also increased self-worth. There we go. Okay. Seb is saying, what are the patterns that are holding me back? Great questions. Getting some really deep questions today. Some really good answers as well. So for Seb. Okay. For Seb. Same card again. You can't make this steady progress. So one of the things that we tend to do, right, is we tend to work in batches. And I used to be, it's still probably my unconscious way of creating. But it's not the best way. And I've had to create habits that allowed me to create steady progress. Because what happens is habits become motion. Like if you think about law of karma, they become motion, they become momentum. The more momentum that you gather in a habit, the more it becomes cumulative. So let's say working out every day, like exercise becomes a habit. That morning walk becomes a habit from 6 until 7 a.m., right? Over time, that saves you from many diseases that you will never know about. It saves you from many arguments that you will never have because you are not stressed and you're not coming from that place, right? It brings in more opportunities because you are more open. It gives you more time to grieve or process your emotions so that you're able to communicate more clearly. So you're thinking, oh, it's just a walk, but it's not, right? It's not just a walk. It's time to commune with yourself and to commune with God and to commune with nature. And it's the same thing with creating every day. So I have a rule that I create every single day. And that is not necessarily always geared towards making money. It's not necessarily always geared to how can I serve my community. So when I'm working Monday to Thursday, it's always geared towards how can I be of greater service to humanity. But when it's the weekends, it's coloring with my son. I got these cute little trees and these wreaths to make for Christmas and for autumn that had like leaf stickers and hedgehogs and foxes and things. It's picking leaves in the forest and then putting them in books so they dry flat and putting photos on them with my son. It's going to mix tiles and making sure that I print out the pictures for this year. Right. And I give myself and my family those memories up on the walls, and I celebrate us and the beauty that we've had and the laughter despite all the challenges and the difficulty. Right. So I made a commitment to create every day, as well as I made a commitment to exercise every day. So it keeps that creative muscle stretched. I made a commitment to show up. So I show up for you 4 days of the week, and then I show up for my family. Both after work and in other days of the week. What does that look like? It means I finish with you guys at 5 and I either have a bath with my son, or I take him swimming, or I take him for a walk. It means that I spend at least an hour to an hour and a half of one-to-one quality time before I clean the house, before I do the laundry, before I, pick up cars or things like that. And that's a decision in my head to prioritize connection, to prioritize community over perfection or tidiness or busyness. I had to make those decisions consciously. So that's what the angel's showing me is blocking, is like steady and consistent progress is much more powerful than doing a huge batch, like working the whole weekend or working for a whole month and then doing nothing because you're exhausted for 3 or 4 months. Regular, consistent with exercise, with investing, with quality time is much more powerful than these one-off bursts. And it's the same thing for spiritual workshops. And it's one of the reasons that Medical Intuitive is over 6 months, is because I've done both. I've done containers where it's a weekend or it's 2 weeks or it's immersive, and it doesn't touch the power of Course in Miracles, which is 365 days, or of the containers that I've done with coaches that have been 6 months to a year, because you are going to change over that period of time in ways that you did not anticipate when you were just doing a weekend. Right? Plans change, life happens, you change, your situation changes. And when you're in an environment where you're getting support through all of that, it makes a huge difference than if you're just doing a course here, a course there. It's still good. If that's all you can fit in, it's still good. But if you can fit in longer term support, take it. And it took me 10 years to realize that, right? 10 years to realize that. I used to think it was a sign of, being too dependent on people. And the reality is, humans take time to trust, but humans also grow. And what you think is going to happen is not necessarily what happens. And having safe spaces to troubleshoot things is invaluable. Okay. Woo. Hi, beautiful. Thank you for your presence. The angels are really bringing it today, aren't they? I've got my kimono on and the colors are really helping. Can the angels tell me if I'm overdosing on any vitamins and minerals? I keep getting colds and I always have constant frog in my throat. Any advice or insight would be grateful. This is not about the vitamins and minerals. Let me do a scan and see what's going on. You're allergic. They keep showing me your immune system is allergic to something. I need you to go and get an allergies test for me. It's either an allergy or an intolerance that you've got going on. And they're showing me like the beginning stages of insulin intolerance that are causing you to have like an inflammatory reaction to carbs and also an inflammatory reaction to to dairy. So I would get that tested. There's a difference between an intolerance and an allergy. An allergy will show up in a test. An intolerance will not, unless you actually have like an intolerance test instead of an allergy test, right? An intolerance will not show up in an allergy test. An intolerance will give you a bloated tummy, stuffy sinuses, a frog in your throat, funny, smelling feet or armpits. An intolerance will give you these symptoms, but an allergy is like, you need an EpiPen and it's a life and death situation. It's a different level of immune system response. An intolerance will cause constant inflammation, whereas an allergy will cause an autoimmune problem, right? That could lead, like, if you get a bee sting and you're gone. So they are different things. And sometimes we use the terminology wrong when we're asking for help. So I would ask to get tested for an intolerance, and I would cut out as much as you can any white flour, any unprocessed carbs, things like oats and things. Stick to cut out the bread. Stick to things like potatoes, lentils, quinoa, couscous. Stick to like apples. Stick to carbs that are like plant-based whole foods as much as possible. Okay. But yeah, you're 100%. It's not about the minerals. It's about not being able to absorb them. As opposed to an overdose. And they are showing me that you could really benefit from like a heavy metal detox as well. So introducing things like coriander or getting chelation would probably be of help too. Obviously, I'm not allowed to diagnose. This is just an angel reading. So you need to go and get those confirmed with either a naturopathic practitioner or with, proper blood tests that you can get delivered to your door. Okay, continued. I don't think doctors support or want more antibiotics that may not be good for me. Now, if you're struggling with candida, long-term antibiotics is not the solution because it's a symptom of the gut biome being unhealthy, but you still need to get tests. So the real resistance is the taking responsibility for your own health, because particularly we're in Britain, where we live in a country where the government pays for most health things, we're not used to having to invest in our health. And there's a reason why most of my clients come from America or India or Brazil or Dubai, where people are used to taking responsibility for their health. And it's because they don't resent me for helping them, right? And I faced this very much when I was young, and I didn't have any money, and I was so sick, and I went to acupuncturist, and I really didn't have the money. I didn't even have the extra 50 quid. That was a lot of money for me back then. And it's probably what helped me turn into an entrepreneur, because I had to find money. I had to make money for these things that other people didn't believe in, didn't even believe would help. And divine intervention, my best friend at the time gave me a coupon that was meant to be for his mother's migraines, and her acupuncturist had already resolved the issue, so she didn't need them anymore. So he gave me some coupons so that I could get acupuncture. But I remember the rage that I felt like I was being taken advantage of financially at one of the worst moments in my life, because I was being asked to pay for a service. And that wasn't what was happening. Those acupuncturists were really good to me, and they really helped solve a lot of problems, not just the candida and the urine infections, but the thyroid issues, which I thought could never be resolved. But that doesn't change the fact that I felt that way. So just because it's not what's really happening doesn't change the strength of the trigger. So anywhere where you are resisting getting the supplements, looking for the right naturopath, the right medical intuitive, until you find the right person, right? Can we release that to the angels? And can we let them pour so much unconditional love into your heart? And show you that when it comes to investments, health is the one that you need to make. Because everything else comes second. If you don't have your health, you're not going to be on this planet long. And that it's not just about you learning to invest financially in your health. If by the time you are sick, it's because you've been refusing, and this is where the neglect wound comes in, right? To invest time in your health. The reason you become sick is because you are refusing to invest time in your health and time in your nutrition. By the time you get to the point where you need to pay a practitioner, right? It's because you've been avoiding the regular self-care. So can we show you that it's okay? Because even after you get better, you're still going to need to change. You're going to need to make time to move your body. You're going to need to make time for yourself. There we go. You're going to need to make your health a priority instead of making money the priority. Money comes as a byproduct of energy. Energy comes as a byproduct of health and your connection with God. There we go. Health first. There's not a millionaire on the planet that starts work before they take care of their bodies. There we go. Okay. I'm going to scroll down because I have a feeling there's someone down here they just want me to talk to. Okay. I have a strong anxiety causing an upset stomach the moment I try to dress sexy. Can my angels please guide me here? My love, you're dealing with some kind of sexual trauma. So I'm going to bring in Archangel Uriel, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and make sure an Archangel Gabriel, because Gabriel wants you to be able to communicate honestly about the experiences that you've had. They're showing me that you've had some experiences which you're going, oh, it's not that big a deal, or that you're not seeing as abuse that were abuse. You're like, you were pushed into situations, you were forced into either kissing or making out or being touched by people that you never wanted to when you were dressed in a sexy way, and you thought that was your fault because of the way you were dressed. You didn't understand that it was that it's not okay, right? So can we give you the courage to work with Archangel Gabriel, do some journaling about what really happened, and to get help? Okay. Last one. Okay. Hi, Sky. Thank you for the blessings and the guidance you give so many. I'd like guidance on a narcissistic colleague. I tried clearing myself, but he still bugs me. Any guidance welcome. Okay, let's see what the angels are saying. I'm getting Archangel Michael coming in straight away. So that's a sign you need divine protection. Oh, look deeper. So you can see that this angel is looking in a mirror, right? This is like a water mirror. Her reflection is in the water. And there's lots of pink roses or flowers around her. So this is around your heart chakra and your higher heart chakra, and around you not being willing to look at where this wound really comes from. They're actually showing me that you grew up with a couple of narcissists and that you haven't been able to forgive them or understand where this disease comes from. And there's this wall is stopping you from being able to be all of who you are, right? So very often we attract people. The reason so many of us are attracted to narcissists is because they have the same wound as us. So even though it looks like they are different because they're putting themselves first and they are believing in themselves no matter what, and they are choosing themselves over everybody else, it still comes from a wounded place. It's not coming from a place of self-love. So when you're abused, you go one of two ways. You either go towards the wound, so you become like the person who abused you and you decide that you're never going to let anybody abuse you because you will be the abuser, or you go the opposite way. You go, I'm never going to hurt anybody. I'm never going to be like them. And then you push away everything they did, right? Including the leadership and the standing up for themselves and the putting themselves first aspect. But both of those are still polarities, and both of those are still not really being yourself and not really making decisions from a place of knowing yourself and loving yourself. They're just making decisions as a way of not repeating the abuse. It's not making decisions from a place of connection with who you are from your source, right? So when you find yourself in a situation with a narcissist, you want to be looking at from the metaphysical perspective, what is it that they embody that I'm scared of embodying? Is it that they assert themselves? Is it that they say the truth and what's on their mind, even if I don't like it? Is it that they're willing to do whatever it takes to live their dreams? What is it that triggers me? Because that's the place that I have to work my wound. And you will find that once you work that wound, you will either naturally move out of working with them, or that they will not trigger you so much, because they will carry on doing the crazy things that they carry on doing, but it won't get to you because you will not have anything to learn. Your spiritual lesson will be completed. Okay, so we're gonna put a blue ball of protection around you, and I'm getting Archangel Raphael coming in to help you really take a fierce moral inventory of your childhood, of your family life, of what's really going on, so that you cannot get triggered by this. And so that you can protect yourself and stand up for yourself where you need to. There's a difference between getting triggered and between having to have healthy boundaries with somebody who has no healthy boundaries. And it's very real. Okay, let's do our closing prayer. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives, and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationship with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste.